What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I am recovering.
Dude, are you okay? Holy.
Brother, I've never wished for death.
Oh.
And I'm not kidding. So, you know that last year I had the Nissen fundoplication.
I
surgery.
do remember that. Gun to my head, I wouldn't have been able to provide two of those syllables, but yes, I do remember that.
Honestly, like half of the doctors I talked to, like I pronounce it and they're like, "Thank you." And when they're like reading it from the charts,
that's so great.
But in a nutshell, that basically involves like, imagine if you had to tie your stomach and esophagus in a knot with like a fish hook. And your stomach, by the way, it looks almost exactly like just raw chicken breast. And they just like fillet that shit and just like, oh God. So
yuck.
But all of that was effectively had to do with some GI stomach acid stuff. But effectively what it did was take the, you have the esophagus and you have the stomach, and it basically like raised the stomach up a little bit, basically, so that it was kind of like it would be harder for the stomach acid to basically
gotcha. Yeah.
Now, but what that effectively did is render it impossible to vomit. So
yikes.
I don't know what happened to me. Like, I didn't have a fever. It didn't go higher than like 99.
Really?
But all my symptoms were literally like the most drastic cold sweats ever. Like every 5 minutes I went from I'm so sweating, oh my God, I'm dying, to
frozen.
I'm hypothermia, and I had like a heated blanket, and it was like I'm in hell, I'm in Antarctica, I'm in hell, I'm in Antarctica, just back and forth for almost 72 hours straight. God, I was just in bed, fever dreaming, delirious, literally. And it was, the worst part is that it was all Binding of Isaac too. If this was like 6 months ago, it would have been Factorio. But a year ago, it would have been chess. And the problem is that, so like when you play a game, video games, and the computer has like memory and it keeps track of state and like things are coherent, but your brain doesn't do that. So like I'll be stressing out about like, oh, there's this item, then the item is in like the wall, then I go pick up the item and then I go into the next room, but like, and you would think there'd be some coherent like, but instead it's just like, oh, there's something I need to do, I didn't do it. Oh, there's something I need to do, just constantly over and over and over again. Nothing makes sense. And I wake up and I'm like feeling terrible. So it was literally cold sweats, delirium, and vomiting. And when I say vomiting, I mean the way I can describe it, because I had after the surgery, I had what's called referred pain, which is basically like you just have pain elsewhere in your body.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like neurological or what. But it was in my shoulder that I had like, so all I can say is that what it felt like trying to throw up, because my body, I don't know if I got food poisoning or what, but my body was like,
get it out of me. Yep.
It was like, imagine taking a fish hook about yay big and just digging it into your stomach and then tying like a winch to your collarbone and then just like cranking. That's all it felt like while I dry heaved over and over and over and over and over again for 3 days straight. It was fucking the worst thing.
Horrendous.
And when I say I wish for death, I swear to God, like there was a period of time, all I was thinking about was the Bo Bergdahl. He was the guy that was like taken by the Taliban for like fucking 4 years or something. Kept in like a dark box for like years and years and years. And they finally ended up getting him back. But I was just thinking about how like this must be what it's like when you're like finally you've hit your limit with torture and you're just like, I'm going to give up.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what I felt like. I was like, I just want to die.
That sounds horrendous, dude. The hijacking of your body, in the sense that like you got that surgery last year and the whole point was like, we see this issue here and we can kind of finagle your insides such that this symptom goes away. But I hadn't thought about how it like, well, in another situation, that track needs to be straight so that we can evacuate the premises. And if it's not, holy bro, because vomiting is one of those things that's so weirdly, in most situations, immediately helpful. Like,
it feels better
to some degree. Like you resist it. Every iota of you resists it. I don't want to throw up, and then immediately it looks like your body just knew. But if you can't do it, because the dry heaves are the worst, because you get all the negative feelings of vomiting without the relief of evacuating your stomach.
Yeah, and it's not just normal dry heaves.
Yeah.
It's like, because when you're vomiting, right, it's like the muscles are effectively like,
yep.
Imagine if there was hands like wringing it down, squeezing your stomach and your esophagus while it's happening.
Christ.
I had to like find the right position.
Yeah, I believe it.
Over the toilet to dry heave, because like, dude, it was miserable.
Jesus,
it was terrible.
Christ.
So I'm like exhausted. Like my throat. I don't know if you can hear my voice is raspy.
Yeah.
I haven't been coughing. It's just from like. And my poor wife sitting there like, is there anything I can do? And I'm like, I'm making the worst humanly possible noises.
Yep.
Like, I don't even know what I sounded like.
Nazgûls are in his toilet.
Oh God, trying to wring me out from the insides.
A rough place to be to be like, I want to help, but you just gotta.
And I'm the most like dehydrated person normally, right?
Yeah.
I drank 30 bottles of water. And my piss was like brown. Dude, I don't know what was wrong with me.
Dude, what?
Like my liver failing or something. But I feel like 90% now. Like I still like a little bit nauseous.
Yeah, but
yeah. So I'm just like coming off of that. I've been disconnected from planet Earth for a few days, and it's almost like I feel like I come back and I'm like, does anything matter anymore?
Yeah. Like, I've seen the end. I've been to the edge of existence. Holy. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, bro. That is brutal. That is.
Yeah, and as is usually the case, the fucking podcast timing is just mwah, because I got a little tired with Isaac today. And I was like, oh, you know what? I would say probably 85% of the people that gave feedback about whether or not I should play Kingdom Come 1 if I want to play 2 basically said you should play 1. A bunch of people said you don't have to.
Yeah.
And I think like most of the people who gave the other advice probably wouldn't disagree, but but so I started playing that. And I played for, I want to say like 4-ish hours.
Did you just start today? Yeah. Okay.
Just started today.
Yeah. Because you weren't sure.
And honestly, like for the most part, I'm really enjoying it. It's
cool.
The shitty thing is that literally 5 minutes before the podcast started, my computer blue screened. And apparently the way that this game works is there's like you use consumables like these bottle of schnapps or something as like your save, like the quick save. It uses consumable. Now I've been playing for 4 hours and I haven't done that once. I've just been playing, and if something happens, I just roll with it, and if I die, I just go back to whatever. It hasn't been an issue until this point, where after the super long like prologue, I go to do this thing. You have to like walk all the way to this place, come all the way back, do a bunch of shit, walk all the way back, come all the way back. It blue screen. So then I load the game up, and it loads me back up when I'm like right at the start. So then I go all the way to the place, and I'm like, I think I can probably do 2 things at once. You're supposed to like dig up a corpse and find a ring, but when you do, there's no ring.
Yeah.
So then you go back to the guy, and he's like, oh, then the guy probably has it. Go steal it from him. So then you go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could probably do it in one
go.
Break into his thing. And then I get there, and I look down, because it's one of the few games where you can see your body. I look down, and I see I'm barefoot, and I'm like, when you wake up after the prologue, it's like all your shit's in the box. And when I reloaded the game, I just didn't open the box. You just did all my. So I had no lockpicks, I had no schnapps, I had no nothing, and I'm like, oh my god, I just wasted all this time.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm so impatient because I'm like, I'm just going to run back. I want to try and bust this out really quick before the podcast starts. And of course, I'm like doing the Skyrim running down the hill that's too sharp, like too steep, and like break a leg. And I don't know how to heal myself yet.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am. I don't know who to talk to. So I'm just like malding, and chat's like, oh, well, you know, the schnapps.
Yeah.
You should have probably, it's a skill issue. And of course, I'm like malding at chat.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you guys! Like, this has nothing to do with the quick save feature. It's just like it was a terrible series of events.
Horrible timing with the blue screen, plus like a maybe unique way for auto saving to happen, or quick saving, not auto saving, but quick saving to happen. Do you get an unlimited amount of the schnapps separate from the incident? So. I'm just fascinated by that way of saving.
You're given like 5 at the beginning, and I never had to use them because it either. Like it auto saved a bunch.
Okay.
Because I've died like 15 times.
Gotcha.
Literally. Okay, this is like very minor spoilers. But all I was thinking about was Red Dead Redemption, because this whole time I've been thinking about like how like immersive is the game. You know, the environmental storytelling, all the things I've talked about with other games.
Yeah.
And I had just got done like beating the shit out of a guy after I tried to fight him, and he beat the shit out of me. And then it was like
rematch.
You're such an emasculated little bitch, dude. In the beginning, like I don't know if it changes. You're just a little bitch. And for some reason, I was just like kind of walking around or whatever, and there was a horse. And I'm like, I wonder, because the thing with horses in Red Dead Redemption is just how, like, if you stand behind a horse for any extended period of time, they'll break your neck.
Yeah.
So I just like walked up to the horse, and of course, like, I'm still pretty new. I've only been playing for like 40 minutes or something, and I'm like left click, right click, nothing's happening, and it's always on like an awkward delay. All of a sudden, I punched the horse in the ass. And the horse kind of freaked out, and of course the guard comes up and is like, "You've assaulted an animal! Like, you're under arrest." And I'm like, I can't fight. I don't know. I don't have weapons. I don't have money.
Yeah.
Like, I literally have $0. So I'm like, I guess just like take me to jail.
Yep.
So they take me to jail, put me in jail, and they're like, this will teach you to break the law. And they close the door, and then all of a sudden, there's like a brief sort of like fade to black. It's another, I don't know if it's another day or if it's later that day, or it's just like you hear yelling from outside, and then there's screaming, and then the building's on fire, and you're dead. It's like, oh. I was expecting like a 2-hour like lock picking escape mini game or some shit. Yeah. Like, I'm like, they're gonna make me work the mines. I'm like, nope, you just die in a fire.
You just die in a fire. That's brutal. I love it.
So yeah,
I love it.
I've been spending a lot of time like loading saves.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall the game, it's pretty funny. You're kind of a bitch. Your dad is like a Giga Chad and totally calls you like you're just like kind of an embarrassing douchebag son. Like,
damn,
for a while.
What an opener for a game. You're just like,
you
start as the wimpy disappointment to your dad.
Yeah, and then it goes 0 to 60, like
hell yeah,
out of nowhere, and yeah, it's interesting. The combat, I don't know if like I kind of want to. I'll have to watch a video to see if there's like who's the best fighter in the game to see if the combat's clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I know it is.
Yeah.
But the question is it like how masterable is it? Are there people that are just sick with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. When
you watch Cyberpunk?
Yes.
Like you see some epic fucking montages from Cyberpunk. Like it looks like John Wick, like legitimately. Yeah.
When did this game come out? February 13th, 2018. Okay, so the game is 7 years old now. That's interesting. I like that concept for a game. I'm assuming it's a medieval style game, so I'm assuming by the end of the game, you're a Giga Chad. And I think the character stays through. Henry, I think, is like the main character of both games. But I like that concept for the start of a game, because normally it's like you're, Altair in Assassin's Creed. You are the Giga Chad, or you're Geralt in, freaking Witcher. You are the Giga Chad. So to start as a nobody and to be like losing fist fights is kind of like a fun motivation to like play the game more and master it and like become the Giga Chad, as opposed to just spawning as the Giga Chad and just wanting to upgrade your skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At one point, like you don't even like as clumsy as like my first fight was, I'm not sure if I was just bad or if it's clunky or if it's like part of the
which kind of puts you exactly in that. Yeah, like that's kind of immersive. Like if the combat is clunky and hard to master and you're supposed to be playing this clunky loser kid and you lose your first few fights, that kind of feels right on brand.
Yeah, like literally 10 minutes later, there's a cutscene where like a guy gives you a sword and is like, show us what you got, kid. And he's like, and he can't even hit a stick in the ground. And it's like, I literally was like this, dude. I was like this watching the cutscene. I'm like, oh my God.
That's actually kind of sick though.
So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of, it kind of makes you wonder, like, if you make a game with clunky combat, you're like, yo, let's just make it like canonically, like you're just bad. You're just bad at it.
Yeah.
Then it kind of justifies the weird combat. I mean, it looks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm sure that like you can get good at it.
Yeah.
I've literally had like 4 sword fights.
Yeah.
And like half the time, like the enemy glitches out through like a balcony and like jumps up in the air. I was on a horse.
Yeah.
Like the first time riding a horse, and I literally just was like in a stable, and I just went into like the roof, and then turned sideways, and was just stuck. And I was like, I guess I gotta load.
Yeah. But to some extent, I mean, it's like you want your game to feel intuitive, but in mastering. Because I get what you said, the question you said earlier, were like, is the combat just clunky, period, or is the combat clunky and like masterable? There was a certain amount of that in Tarkov too. Like back when you were running labs with the TX-15 and new people would come in and be like, dude, I don't even understand what's happening, because so much of Tarkov is so clunky and hard to get around. Seeing somebody master it feels that much more impressive. Now, I guess the jury's still out on how the combat is on the first game. I've been hearing that the combat in the second game is like great. So I don't know if it's like leaps and bounds better, if they just refined the formula, or if it's just kind of supposed to be that, like a clunky thing that feels good once you've mastered it. I've seen very little gameplay, but I've been hearing good things about the second one.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little overwhelming at first. Like, when you get into a game, you kind of just want to fucking play, right? You just want to play. So like when you've been doing cutscenes and you like walked around and you collected some things and like talked to a bunch of people, and finally it's like the first thing of combat, you're like, let's fucking do this. And the guy, rears up and you're like, yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, you're like, oh. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, oh God. Right. Like, oh, and it's like next page in the lower right hand corner is the button. It's like next, and you're like, fuck.
Damn.
So I'm kind of like, listen, dog, I'm sorry that happened to you, or
congratulations.
But like, I'm not reading all that. So of course I go and I'm just like clicking, and I'm just instantly like out of stamina, and it's a hot mess.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, but I mean, so far it's been fun. It's got for sure got some of that Bethesda jank.
Yeah.
Which again, like I'll never poo-poo a game, especially from like I think this might have been the first game they made. I'm not sure. I don't mind the kind of awkwardness.
Yeah.
It doesn't really like kill my immersion in the same way.
Yeah. I would say for you, probably like, and I think when that is what takes you out of it more from games like Starfield and Stalker, is like missed opportunities take you out of the immersion more than like jank. Because like we all know games are jank. So if sometimes you float up or glitch through a wall, you can like hit a reset and laugh about it. But like when Stalker, you would see this wide open field and then this cabin out in the middle, and you were just like, oh my God, this is going to be a moment. And it was like nothing. You're like, that is almost what takes you personally out of the immersion feeling. So yeah it's like games are jank sometimes, especially older ones. Like
when something fucks up, and before I chose, dialogue option A, and then I have to reload, I choose dialogue option B, I have to reload and choose dialogue option C, and I realize they all lead to the same outcome. That's when I'm like, oh, and none of them even make sense given like the context. It was all outside of my control. Whereas in Kingdom Come, every time I've done something the second time, it went differently.
That's cool.
And not necessarily like significantly differently. It might have been like I ended up at the same thing, but like I look like a shithead.
Yeah.
Like in one case, a guy asked me something, and I don't even remember what the question was, but he was basically like, "Oh, you're just like a bitch. Like what the fuck?" And it was like you lost reputation, and then one of the first quests, and again, like I guess the first hour of the game, spoilers.
Yeah.
But one of the first quests is like your three shithead buddies are like, yo, fuck that guy talking shit over at the bar. There's a big pile of manure by his house. Let's go like cover his house in it. So you just go over and you start throwing manure at the guy's house.
Sick.
Now they came over and they were like, what do you say? And I was like, nah, I'm not really interested, because like I already had like 2 or 3 quests in my thing. I'm like, not now, kind of thing. But they're like, all right, fuck it, see you later. And they all just started walking, and I was like, well, what the fuck? And I started walking with them, and they're like, oh, you're coming along now? Like randomly, the NPCs just started walking in that direction, and like I changed my mind after telling them no.
That's actually sick.
And they're like, oh, changing your mind. And then when I got there,
you were able to participate.
Stood there and I could initiate. So it was like, that was really interesting, right? Like that's sick. Those are the kinds of things where it's like, if I'm like, wait, I chose the wrong thing, and I'm like trying to click on the NPCs and nothing's happening. And I'm like, that's what kills my immersion.
Yes. Yes. That's actually cool. That they didn't just go, okay, and then like stand around. Like they're going to go do it. I mean, I feel like that's the stuff people at least want you to believe when they're like, our world is alive. Like that feels alive. Like these dudes were going to go do this whether I was there or not. And the game let me, without a specific brand new dialogue option, change my mind and join. Like that's sick. Yeah.
And I'm kind of like you're like kind of a punk. Like, I don't know. You look like you're 30, but I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to be like 15 or something. But at one point, your dad tells you to go over and pick up the tools. This guy, either get the money he owes or get the tools that he lent.
Gotcha.
And you basically have like do you do the intimidation check, the kind of charisma check, or do you just kind of capitulate and be a little bitch? And I'm like, I'm not going to be a little bitch. I'm not letting old man down, right?
Yeah.
So you I ended up basically being like, nah, you're going to fucking give me the tools, or otherwise you're going to see what happens. And the guy's like, okay. And he's like an older kind of grizzled, like someone who's been working with their hands their whole life. And I'm in real life, I'm like, oh, this guy would fuck me up. And the guy fucked me up. Like, the guy fucked me up. Just like, oh.
That's actually sick.
Holy shit. Now, the second time around, I ended up beating him, but I think it was kind of a little bit of game jank. I think I got lucky because he kind of like went to go turn and like walk, but he like got stuck in the corner of a thing, and I was just kind of like hitting him while he was like stuck in the corner. So I think that's the only reason why I won. I probably would have lost if he wasn't janked, but it's kind of interesting in that, like, ostensibly that means if you're fucking good enough, then it should weed out like 95% of the players. If the skill test is like that, if most people actually, okay, so a way I would look at it is if all first time players would fail, but all veterans would win. Then that's a skill test, right? And
that's cool.
I'm not sure how much of this was that and how much of it was jank or how much of it was, but I don't know. So far, it's been cool. I'm looking forward to playing it more, and I have a feeling that if it keeps on going where it's going, that I'll end up playing the second one as well. So
that's awesome. That's sick, man. Love it. Before we move on, talk about some other games, some other cool stuff going on. I want to take a second to thank the first sponsor of this episode, and that is MANDO Whole Body Deodorant. Listen, this is something that doesn't just affect you, but it affects the people around you. You got to be smelling good. You got to be feeling good. And Mando's it, man. Their stuff is awesome. Their scents are amazing. They've got deodorant any which way you want it, and they're stressing whole body deodorant, not just for the armpits. Anywhere you're smelling jank, if you just got off a shift throwing some manure at your friend's house, and you wanna lock that in, dude, Mando's got you covered.
No, dude, I have a better anecdote because I sat sweating in a fever dream for 3 days straight in my bed. Okay, my wife slept in the guest room. Okay, I just rolled around in bed, didn't shower. I didn't get out of bed, okay, other than to crawl to the toilet and back. And I swear to you, this is not an exaggeration. I'm not lying. This is not bullshit marketing sales pitch. Multiple times, I was like, I smell good. Like, I'm like, it was concerning because I'm like, I shouldn't smell like it was like a nice sweet kind of. I'm like, this shouldn't be like, I haven't showered in 3 days. I'm rank, dude. I'm dank. Like, this crazy. Is not, and I'm like, I smell okay. Like,
dude, the things we do for the ad reads here. He field tested that Mando, and it came out on top.
I swear to you, I'm like, I can't wait for the next Mando ad read because this is like legitimately the best endorsement. Like, I didn't shower for 3 days and I sat there sweating, dying, and I still smell fine.
That's crazy. That's awesome. They're dude, well, there you go. It works. Their scents are great. They've got a bunch of different scents. They all smell like really like refined, like really good scents. They have deodorant any way you want it. They've got the like the aerosol. They've got the sticks. They've got even like a cream that you can
I tried the cream for the first time.
Yeah? Do you like it?
Was surprised how similar it was to just like a deodorant.
Yeah.
I put, a little bit of cream in the pit, and I just thought, like, there's no way this is going to last. And it was indistinguishable an hour later from deodorant.
So it's awesome to be able to deodorize however you want. You maybe throw something in a camping bag. You use something in the morning. You use something in a travel bag. You can do it however you want. It's all great. Created by a doctor. Once again, whole body deodorant meant to put anywhere, pits, balls, thigh, belly button, butt crack, whatever. All products are baking soda free and paraben free. And they even have some additional stuff like wipes, which after having kids, I'm full on the wipe train. You can even get bars of some of the stuff, body wash. They've got everything locked in. So Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash or the wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers can get $5 off the starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code POGCAST at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, and use code POGCAST off the starter pack for an additional $5 off. Thank you so much to Mando for sponsoring this episode. But damn.
Well, that's literally a true story about
that. Is crazy. That's so funny. Holy. Well, that's cool, man. That KCD has been fun. I've been kind of all over the place, and like really all over the place, like in a way that's almost, we talked on the podcast. I mean, we've been talking about it on like the Patreon as well, but we talked on the podcast, I think last week, about like just, doing variety and some of the stresses that come with trying to manage. Yeah, it was on the main channel last week because we talked about how like people want you to be less negative, and then the thing that you do to be less negative, which is like play other games, they might not be interested in that game. So the thing to do to try and get that viewer to stay is what gets that viewer to leave, and it's a whole thing. But I will say I've been like bouncing around playing tons of games. I've been playing Armory Forger, playing Delta Force. I was even playing some PUBG with Hambino again, which is like, it's so funny. Whenever I play PUBG, people come in, they're like, dude, they're like, what year is it? Like, you've stepped through a time portal. But I'm actually really enjoying it because it's there's something, after playing extraction shooter, like extraction shooter for so long, there's something enjoyable to me about the stress release of like, I'm not losing like meta progress. Like dying just means you die, you queue up and you go again. There's not like a cooldown for this or that, or I don't have enough money. Like I'm reverse snowballing. I'm losing all my cash. Like it's just like,
it's not a Sisyphean, like you're pushing the boulder up the hill, up the hill, up the hill. You slip and you fall down. It's like all that progress lost.
Dude, yes, it's just like we died. GG, go next. Like so, and so like obviously, the extraction shooter and that meta progress is what makes those games fun. We've talked at length about how like, immersive and fun, and something can not be fun but be incredibly rewarding, and that's what makes those games that. But after almost consecutive 9,000 hours of playing that game, the like freedom that comes from like a battle royale where it's tons of content, lots of action, and no, it's just like, it's whatever when you die, has been fun. And PUBG is really interesting because like the recoil in that game is crazy. Like it's a whole nother animal compared to the Tarkovs, and just like and like the engagement distances or so. Like I'm reminded at how much I like kind of like open world vibey games when I play that. Because like, we hopped in, I pressed M for map, and I was looking at Erangel and I was like, oh my God, like it's huge. And so like, sniping at someone 600 meters away, just trying to get like a lucky shot on them. Like you're never sniping someone 600 meters away in Tarkov. So it's been fun. It's so interesting because I don't know if you saw Battlefield did like the Battlefield, their YouTube channel, they did like a 5-minute marketing video about like the next Battlefield. And they showed exactly 7 seconds of footage of the new Battlefield in the 5-minute video.
I feel like someone retweeted the video and said like, it was one of those like, definitely don't waste your money on early access.
Yeah, don't pre-order or anything. Well,
but they said they thought it looked good. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's the people that are saying it looks good are like Battlefield guys coping that the next, and I don't even mean coping in a derogatory term. Just like every time there's a new wipe, there's a part of me that copes that this is going to be the wipe that fixes everything, right? Like there wasn't enough footage to really tell if it's going to be fun. But if you're a Battlefield guy, you're probably looking at every frame of that going, oh my God, this looks sick, which I'm literally not even saying as a derogatory thing. The video was really funny because like, dude, it was 5 minutes. And 4 minutes and 50 seconds of it was like complete bullshit marketing speak, which I just find to be so funny. It was like, I paused the video 2.5 minutes in, and I was like, dude, they haven't said anything yet.
Like, who are they talking to?
They're talking to it's like a marketing thing. They're talking to you, the audience, but it's like,
but sometimes the marketing things, it's like the language and whatever. It's like players don't care about any of this stuff. It's almost like they're talking to investors.
Dude, it's 3.5 minutes of like, we know that you guys have come to expect a certain quality of Battlefield, and we were like, what if we took it to the next level, cut to a different person. So this year, really, we've distilled what makes the Battlefield experience so good and seen what the players like and the players don't. And you'll never believe what we have in store. Cut to the next person. Really, the Battlefield experience is so integral to us and our DNA, and this, you won't believe that the next level's next level. And it's like 3 minutes and they haven't said anything yet. And I pause, I'm like, what are we doing? It's hilarious.
Business structure, quarterly financial reports.
I felt like I was in an MLM or something.
Prestige worldwide.
Prestige worldwide. I literally felt like I was in an MLM where they were trying to like say as much as possible, but say as little as possible because they don't want you asking questions. Dude, it was hilarious, and hilarious considering that like Battlefield 2042 which is the most recent one, was like the worst launch of a Battlefield game ever. Now, I will say once again, I've heard that they've really locked in Battlefield 2042 and it's really good and fun now. But the community sentiment about launches of Battlefield games is like really low. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, Rockstar could get away with this because they're just releasing banger after banger after banger. But this much corporate speak after like the worst launch of any game in your series ever, like it just didn't hit at all. Like it was just so empty.
It shows how out of touch then. It's like,
dude, it was crazy.
It's less about what you say or even how you say it, but like who is saying it and whether it's fucking believable and like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now they're like, and I actually don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but they're doing this whole thing called Battlefield Labs where they're going to be like, you can apply and it's free. You don't have to like pre-order, which is good. You can like apply to be like an early tester. I think they've always had like testers and test servers, but they're widening the scope of that, which I almost don't know if it's a good idea or not, because sometimes I feel like IPs like that are often like such nostalgia bait. They want you to like feel the way you felt, you know, when you were playing Battlefield 3 with your homies, but that doesn't really work anymore. So they have to do this. And so it's like Call of Duty where like everybody wants what the old COD was, but then any movement in that direction, a whole nother part of the community is like, no, that's the worst. We have to go this way. So I'm interested to see opening up to like more community feedback early in the process, if that'll help or hurt the series. But I hope like always, my position is always very consistent. I hope the next game is great. I always want more good, fun games. That's literally like everybody wins when there's more good, fun games. But all of this to say, there's big rumors that they're going to do another Battle Royale. They did one in like Battlefield 1. I think it was called like Operation Firestorm. And Battlefield 5. Okay, I get them all mixed up. But they did a Battle Royale and it was behind a paywall or whatever. Anyways, I've been playing PUBG a little bit, and anytime we talk about Battlefield potentially doing a Battle Royale, the sentiment is like super negative on like Battle Royale, like, oh, not another Battle Royale. Battle Royale suck. Like, what are we doing? And I find that to be so interesting because like, it's interesting that it felt like, it feels like new genres of games, like genres of games that didn't exist 20 years ago, are treated more like trends as opposed to like genres of games. Like any company can put out
another RPG.
Exactly. That dude, I couldn't land the plane and you just landed it. 100%. Nobody's like, another role-playing game? Like, because it's so 1997. Like, we want more RPGs, and good RPGs make more good RPGs. You know what I mean? And so
and there's trends and there's genres.
Yeah. And I feel like Battle Royale, it's a newer genre, and I feel like that's why people have a problem with it, because everybody hopped on that genre when it first launched. But like,
because it feels more like a game mode than a genre, though, to be fair.
Yeah,
like,
true.
You know, maybe it's seen more as like first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Like, no one's like another first-person shooter. Yeah. People are like, no, we want first-person shooters.
Yeah.
But they just
And that's actually a really good point. But here's the thing. I think the point you made is so true. It feels like a game mode more than a genre. But I think that's like 50% the industry's fault and 50% the player's fault, because players will only play battle royales if they're attached to IPs they know. When like a bespoke battle royale comes out, they're like, oh, you're just trying to jump on the trend, man. Like, we already have Warzone. And when a game is trying to like be a really good battle royale and just be a good battle royale, I feel like it often gets rejected. And so the only ones that can survive can be ones that are funded by the billion-dollar IP they're attached to. Now, I will definitely concede that like battle royales got really saturated, because it did feel like a trend and every IP worth its salt, tried like a battle royale. But I guess the bigger point I'm trying to make is that like, I don't get the like wholesale rejection of it, where like somebody's coming out with a new battle royale and it's just like, oh my God, stop that. It's like, well, I actually think a new modern battle royale with some like really interesting bespoke mechanics could go crazy in 2025. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not saying Battlefields is going to be it. I'm just saying that the conversation around Battlefields got me thinking about this.
See, like, so all I can think of is, I played a ton of PUBG, right? Go back to my first like 50 videos on my channel. It's all PUBG, right? PUBG was kind of what made me start doing content creation, although I never streamed it.
Yeah.
But then, I kind of like disconnected from, I got into Tarkov and kind of disconnected from the BR space for a bit. And then like in between, in that like 5 or 6 year period, 700 BRs came out. Okay. And here's the thing. You can show me any 30-second clip from any of these, and it's the same beautiful graphics, cool, nice, sleek, modern HUD. A guy running over a hill, slides, pull out a laptop, does some things, has a little gadget, pulls out a thing, fucking puts the attachments on the thing, pulls out a sniper rifle, one shots thing. And I couldn't tell you if it's Call of Duty. I couldn't tell you if it's Battlefield. They all look exactly the same. They all look like they feel exactly the same. It just feels... Remember back in the day when there was Halo, Call of Duty,
and Battlefield.
And Battlefield.
They were like the three.
And they were all they were distinct
They
enough.
were very different,
And like, so now it's all just how many gimmicks and gadgets can we throw in, right? How many different laptops and drones and RC cars and Predator missile, hacking cell phone strikes can you do at the payphone drop location? You know what I mean? Like, and like none of that, at least for me, none of that was what made PUBG fun. What made PUBG fun was there was like 5 guns, 3 attachments, 2 kinds of meds, a Red Bull, some cars, and a zone. And like an empty
simplicity
Stalker 2 map. And
but that's such an interesting point where like I think even in the chat, it's so funny because like people are saying that's why people hate BRs. But it's like I'm not saying that the chat is wrong or you're wrong. It's just such a chicken and egg thing where like I fully acknowledge the battle royale space got oversaturated with a bunch of games that didn't innovate, overcomplicated, and all looked the same. But if I'm battle royale Andy, that makes me want a good battle royale more. But it feels like the response is any battle royale that's announced is like middle finger, battle royale sucks, stop making battle royales. So are people tired of battle royales because battle royales were bad, or are battle royales bad because everybody hates battle royales? You know what I mean? It's like I would want
every shooter genre game.
No, you're right.
Every Tarkov, it's just another Tarkov, and it's because 8 billion have come out. 7,999,999,999 failed. Or were disappointments or don't exist anymore. So
I'm with you. I'm not even saying, I'm definitely not saying that so many good battle royales have come out and you guys aren't appreciating them. Definitely not saying that. I'm with you that the ones that have succeeded were the good ones. The ones that either they were attached to billion-dollar IPs like Warzone, or the ones that were just really good. Like PUBG is still huge in like Asia and still has a really cool following. I think, love it or hate it, that is why Fortnite did so well, because they had like one of the most intense innovations to that space, which is like, these maps are big. What if we give you the ability to like build on command? And I know that that's gone through its paces, and then it kind of optimized its way out of people liking building in Fortnite. Now, no build is kind of the, the thing again. But I think that was one of the reasons why it succeeded, because it truly innovated, and then it, grabbed onto an audience. So I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just saying that it's I find the sentiment interesting of not like, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I hope this one is good. It's just like, fuck Battle Royale, stop making them. I'm like, but aren't you a Battle Royale fan? It's like, yeah, well, they can't make a good one, so stop making them. And it's like, that's interesting. I mean, that's fine. It's your opinion to have, not you, obviously. But it's like, if I was I'm an extraction shooter fan. I want better extraction shooters. I don't want more. I don't want the market to be saturated with asset flips or games, but I want like better ones. I don't want like, that's the point. I don't want to go back and play Tarkov. I want to play a better one. And so I find it interesting. And then you go ahead, because then I'm going to change it a little bit.
I was just going to say, like, so your reaction, I know exactly where you're coming from. And it's the reaction to the obvious, predictable, hipster Andy, like, all these guys think that they're like, I'm going to now reject all the new, like, they think, right? And your response is like the rational end result, which is like, guys, eventually there's going to be one. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah. Let's just wait and be rational and realistic. I'm one evolution past you, where I'm like, why are you even trying to tell everyone that, like, not that you're trying to convince everyone, but like, I'm like,
I don't ever have this conversation with anyone. I just find it fascinating. Yeah.
I'm past fascinated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why
you're too acceptance.
Why is time a flat circle?
Yeah.
And right? And it's like, and a year from now, you're going to be hearing someone saying this thing that you completely agree with, and you're going to be like, yeah, I know, I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, there's like a level of enlightenment that it's like, yeah, but you can't change anything. You know what I mean?
And like the next step is to like probably just be a better human being and be like, and just like agree with everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, I feel you. And yeah, I definitely don't think I can change anybody's mind. The other thing I was going to say was like, the two, like, even in this conversation, two sentiments have come up. Not only two, but two that I find to be interesting because it's such a tightrope. One is, I liked PUBG because it was like simple. And one is, nobody's really innovating. That is not, they're not mutually exclusive, but that's a hard line to tread, where if let's say you're a game company that's not trying to make a battle royale as a game mode onto your game, you want to make a battle royale. If it's too simple, a lot of times people are like, well, this doesn't feel different enough. And if you try to, inject interesting mechanics, it feels like, why didn't you just copy what made PUBG great? PUBG's great. We need a new PUBG anyway. Why didn't you just put this in Unreal Engine 5 or whatever? And that's and I'm not even saying, when I say those words, I'm not actually like thinking of any chatters. I haven't heard anybody say that, but I find myself feeling that way when I play new games, where I'm like, there's nothing new here. Like, why would I play this game? I can go play the other game. Or if there's something new and I don't want to learn it, I'm like, why are they overcomplicating it? Battle royales are simple, or extraction shooters are simple, man. It's just about having good loot and good combat. And so that's a really hard line to tread, innovation and simplicity, for sure.
Yeah. I think to wrap up, like my point earlier, it's almost like the irrational, like low effort, low IQ, hipster, like conclusion that everyone comes to before they get a chance to do anything. The moment anything is announced. The sad thing is that's just, it's the world we live in is that's right 99% of the time. Even though the reasonable, rational, fair thing to do is give everything a fair shake.
For sure.
The whole like,
that's a good point.
It's fucking gonna be shitty vaporware. The servers are gonna be abandoned 3 months.
That's such a great point.
It's just sad that they're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and what bugs me like existentially is that maybe like if there are 100 games that they're right about, I wonder if 2 of them are right due to it being a self-fulfilling prophecy, where like the 2 of the 100 maybe had legs but needed some time to cook, but because the community at large goes into it with the preconceived notion that it's going to suck, the game is not given time to cook. There's no way to prove that. No. What I'm saying is that there's no way to prove that, but that's what like gets me going is like, what if there was a diamond in the rough that we rejected? No, I actually full circle agree with you. You can't, if you're a gamer, you can't conceivably be excited about every single game, buy every single game, give every single game 100 hours, give it a chance. So you're right that the lazy response is 99% of the time the good response, or the correct response, or they're going to be right whether it was the correct response or not. But yeah, that's where my brain goes, even though there's no evidence to support it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel you. I think like I have a gut feeling, and I can't think of any examples at the moment, but my intuition just tells me that if there was actually a diamond in the rough, like something special, that no amount of hipster naysayer,
maybe
Battlefield Andy, COD Andy, like that, because they're still just like the masses.
Yeah, that's true.
That will play regardless of what
that's
Twitter
actually so true. Yeah.
I mean, like, I kind of hate to say it, but like, maybe this isn't a fair comparison, but I was just thinking like Fortnite. Like, but
yeah,
but that was almost.
I think I see the comparison you're making, though.
Yeah, it's hard because I don't know exactly the timing or exactly the sentiment, but like I just remember, Fortnite just being like this baby game for kids, everybody laughing at it, and it's like
and holding down 2 million concurrent players.
But like, it's still streamers are still going
so
big,
true.
Playing
Same
it.
thing with Call of Duty.
It's even though it's like not cool, it's like it's almost like it went from being not cool for so long that it's like cool again.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was there the whole time.
Yeah. Dude, that's actually so true. Maybe ultimately my take is the chronically online take, that I've let the hipster naysayers convince me that there are more of them than there are. And I'm being like, well, what are the implications of the games industry if everybody, hates every game? And maybe, yeah, you're right, where it's like, the reality is I feel like if you polled 10,000 gamers on their opinion of COD, they'd, of all ages, you know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, friggin' COD is lame. But then you look and it's like, I bet if you pulled their random Steam library check, 5,000 of them played COD within the last 30 days. Like, maybe, yeah, the sentiment doesn't always match the like reality of it. Well, not maybe, definitely. Yeah.
And I think that whatever the next great game is, there will be a ton of naysayers at the beginning, pretty much no matter what. And I just think that like if it's good enough, it won't matter.
Yeah, it'll work. It
won't matter.
Dude, I think I agree. Wow. Yep. Well, so before we move on to the next thing, I do want to take a second and thank the second sponsor of today's episode, and that is MeUndies. Man, MeUndies, we love them. We've been working with them for a while. They've got you covered for everything. It's, we might be just a day or so past it, but the Valentine's season is upon us. And if you're looking for, something a little spicy in your life, MeUndies has you covered there as well. They've obviously got a vast collection of underwear and all sorts of things. I know Veritas is a big fan of the ball caddy. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
don't want to put balls in my caddy.
I don't want to put balls in your face, but I think
yeah, I was unfortunately can't share any personal anecdotes.
From this week.
But
holy,
what am I rocking today? I got the Yetis. I got the little
Yetis.
Oh
yes, dude. Yes.
Little Yetis. Brother, I mean, we've talked about it forever.
Yeah.
I've been wearing MeUndies for, I don't know, I want to say like 6 or 7 years now. And it's all I own. I have like 100 pairs. I can't get enough of them. my wife just what's the time on that? She discovered because I started getting the longer ones.
Yeah.
The longer boxer briefs.
Yeah.
And lately she's been fucking rocking them, and she's like,
that's the ultimate.
That's when you know.
That's the ultimate sell is when the significant other steals them and wears them non-sponsored.
Yeah, she looks better in them than I do.
Yeah. I hope so. So they've got you covered, man. Style for everyone. They have all black classics. They have an exorbitant amount of like crazy prints. He's got the Yetis. I got the space ones. I'm normally just like a black or gray kind of like garment kind of guy, but I've been dabbling out. I got the space ones. I love grabbing those. They've got more than just underwear. They've got loungewear. They've got joggers, hoodies, onesies, more. Their signature fabric is soft and warm, and it is literally the softest and like weighty. Like they feel substantial, and they're incredibly soft. They're responsibly sourced. And if you're not happy with your first pair of MeUndies, it is on them. This Valentine's Day, good things come in big packages at MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Pogcast and enter promo code Pogcast. That is MeUndies.com/Pogcast, code Pogcast for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. Bada bing. But yeah, so that's just been like, that was my little tirade on just like the industry and what's been interesting about that. And like Battlefield, you know, people are stoked for it. You know, obviously everybody wants the resurgence. They want the God game where like they find the balance of nostalgia and new stuff, and they really bring back Battlefield. Because the interesting thing about Battlefield is that like there's not many games do what they do. Like Call of Duty, there's a bunch of like first-person shooters, and there's a bunch of battle royales, and there's a bunch of, you know, multiplayer shooters. But the big team, you know, 64v64, 32v32 kind of stuff, there's not as many people do that. So that's exciting. One other thing I will say to take away from that conversation we had about like battle royales and that kind of stuff is what will transition us into the next conversation, but is the concept of like everything is doomed to be the first game that tried this thing plus this, right? Like every extraction shooter is like, oh, so this is Tarkov plus COD. Oh, this is Tarkov plus this. Oh, so this is just Tarkov plus Valorant. Just like every BR was like, is this PUBG but cartoony like Fortnite? Is this PUBG but cartoony? Is this PUBG but Call of Duty? And it's, you know, I was playing Delta Force or something, and somebody had made that quip, and I just was like, I wish we could peer into an alternate dimension where a different game came out first, and the Escape from Tarkov we all know and love was releasing today, and I just wish you could see this alternate version of yourself saying out loud or typing in a chat, so this is just Delta Force but more realistic. Like, I just wish you could see yourself saying that in the multiverse, because you would. Everything is just first game plus other game I know, reduce this game I'm seeing down to that. And I don't know. It's
just chess with guns.
Exactly.
Like, can we all
everything
every game
at this point is just chess with guns. So I find that to be another interesting like hurdle that games that try and come out, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just, you know, the same people in the chat that are like complaining about Tarkov all the time, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, so this is just Tarkov with this? I'm like, yeah, this is just Tarkov with frames and with a working netcode. Like, I don't know. What do you want? So I find that to be interesting. Now, that being said, I played a little bit. I don't know if you've been basically AFK for 72 hours, so probably not. But
all I watched was this fucking channel something Gatsby. He makes pottery. I literally want to do a shout out.
Just doing some pottery?
He's like one of like a world-class pottery.
Wow.
I want to say wait, hold.
Brothers, hold.
Florian Gatsby, I think, dude. And it's just literally him like really nice chill in his thing, just making
I love that. It's like ASMR.
He's got like 2 million he does have some ASMR. It's sad because he's got like, here's him talking through him making a thing, and then there's an ASMR version. It's like that. It's got like 3 million views, and the other one has like 35,000 views. But Florian Gatsby, dude, that's what got me through.
Damn.
I just had that on repeat. Yeah, sorry.
Damn. V was like, I want to die, but then I couldn't see the next Florian Gatsby video. That's what got him through.
But then I won't be able to do like one of those wine and vase parties with my wife this weekend.
So that's the thing. But what I was going to say was this week, the Exoborne playtest has been going on, which I don't know if you've seen. I've been like aware of this game. They've done some like playtests in the past. I wasn't able to play. But I've been seeing.
It's just like that sounds like Level 0, but with guns.
Yeah. Dude, let me tell you.
Wait, no, really, I was kidding.
No, I mean, it's not like Level 0, but I
because Level 0 basically said they were shutting off servers and everything.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
So the hipsters were right about that one.
Yeah, damn. Oof. Anyways, I had basically zero interest in it. I watched it for like, Sequisha was playing it. So I watched it for like a couple minutes. I was like, nah. It's just like, not for me.
Did you ask them how much you get paid? Or?
But yeah, of course. That's all. Yeah, I typed that in the chat many times. But like, I had a bunch of people asking me like, yo, have you played Exoborne? What do you think? Are you going to play Exoborne? And then Ham messaged me and was like, yo, I'm doing like a Twitch bounty, like a bounty board for Exoborne later today. Do you want to like end the stream doing some of that? I was like, sure. I was playing Tarkov that day, so like any excuse to end on something else. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Whatever. I got the key for free. They're doing a Twitch drops thing. You just watch a streamer play for 15 minutes. You get a key. So I got a key. I was like, let's do it. And bro, I was pleasantly surprised. And it might be me just not being educated on what the game was, but apparently a bunch of the devs from Jaeger, which made the Cycle Frontier, which RIP, the Cycle Frontier died a few years ago.
Oh God, we live in a graveyard.
Yeah, have been working on this, and so it's the biggest thing for me that I don't like about it is that it's third person. I'm not a huge fan of like third person like PvP games personally, but it's third person. However, it's like I was in immediately. I was playing with Degeki and Ham, and he was like, so in this game, Degeki had been playing a lot. So he was like, okay, so this game, he's like, I don't know if you guys played the Cycle, but in this game, the servers are persistent. So they're up just like forever. You're constantly hopping in and hopping out of raids. And immediately I was like, what? That was my favorite thing about the Cycle Frontier was the way they did infilling, exfilling, loot respawning, and that whole thing. You could just like be in a raid. I was talking to Fixate because he played Cycle way back in the day too. I think the record time somebody spent in a raid was like 16 hours or something like that. In the Cycle, or 8 hours or 10 hours. It was something crazy in one raid. They were just like constantly replenishing their heals and fighting. It was wild. Anyways, so it's basically big open world, persistent servers, but an extraction shooter, very similar to Cycle Frontier. But this game's shtick is that it's like your exosuit. You're swapping out your exosuits. You're upgrading your exosuits. You're getting guns, attachments, heals. There's stuff to get.
A chainsaw, a big chainsaw.
Dude, I don't know. That would be. I hope so.
Giving me some what's
Gears.
Like the fucking game? Gears of War. Yeah, Gruff Daddies of War.
Daddies of War. Yes, I forgot about Gruff Daddies of War. But yeah, so I don't know if it was like I literally played it for 1 hour and 30 minutes. So please don't interpret this as like, you know, this bad boy is going to be game of the year. But I went to it with expectations literally on the floor and had a blast for an hour and a half. And then immediately was like, this is one of those games that's like more fun to play than watch. Because like, it's just like, I watched Sequisha play it and like Nixia play it and a few other people. And like none of how fun it was translated when I was watching it initially. And maybe that's because I had, I don't know, expectations that it was going to suck. But it just didn't, I don't know, but it was fun, man. The movement is crazy. It's a huge map, and there's like tons of verticality to it. You have this grappling hook.
Grappling hook, zip line,
just
fucking parachute.
Yoink up. One of the other games like shticks is the dynamic weather system, which is like extreme. Like it's not like light rain or fog. Everything is turned up to 11. You're either in no weather at all, a complete dust storm where you can only see 5 feet in front of you, a torrential downpour, or like a tornado. And you can use a lot of that. Like during certain weather, there will be like updrafts, and you can just like jump and pull out your glider and catch the updraft and just go up like 200 feet in the air and then relocate or glide down or get another angle. And you can like mix that. Like you can grapple off something and then hit an updraft and glide up and like ride a tornado. It's crazy. And the weather, like the whole map doesn't get the same weather. It's like the tornadoes come through and then like over here might be raining or over here might be dusty or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. It was kind of fun, low key. It was just like good movement, which helped a lot.
It's really satisfying.
Yeah.
I actually think this is like really closely related to everything that we're talking about, in that I feel like there's 3 different kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
There's games that just aren't fun.
Mm-hmm.
We can ignore those.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly.
Then there are games that are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are games that you need to play, that you think about when you're not playing.
Of course. Yeah.
And I think that is that's like the unstated, this is like the thing that people want that they don't realize what they want.
Yeah.
It's like any game you could play. I think me could play any game.
Yeah.
With the exception being ones that maybe there's like it's full of people that are like so cracked. Like when I played
like Apex.
What was that one? Apex. I couldn't kill anyone.
Me either, bro.
And I was like, there's not enough cocaine this side of Cuba for me to deal.
It's so true though.
And I basically gave up after like 3 fucking fights.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, nope. So I feel like we could play any of the CODs, any of the modern Battlefields, any of the modern extract shooters, any of the modern BRs, and they would be fun, especially with some homies for a few hours.
Yes.
I feel like, but you could also download the Unreal Engine like developer portal, click on the third tutorial fucking demo project, and that would be fun
with some homies in Discord. Yeah.
So like what I think everyone wants and what we've been dying for so long, and what every game promises that it's going to be, and none of them remotely come close, is that like something that defines a fucking era on your video game timeline.
Yeah.
I don't like, do we want another insert hip modern great graphics, great performance, fucking arcade super fun shooter? Because like I think we've only had this conversation once or twice before.
Okay.
But it feels like we could have had it 8 billion times. You played a game that like you weren't expecting to be good, and it was like actually surprisingly good, and you had fun with people, and it's like, but 2 weeks from now, you'll never think about the game ever again.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. 2, 1, is that really that bad? And 2, can we really expect every game to be a genre defining game? You know what I mean? Like,
when companies spend $300 million, it's like they either should be or it's a terrible disappointment.
I feel that. I feel like that's exactly what we can judge. Like, what the hell was Battlefield's attempt at an extraction shooter? I forget what it was called, Hazard Zone or something. Like that was horrendous. And you know what I mean? And it was like they spent $1 billion on the Battlefield 2042 and all that, and they tried to tack that on. This, I feel like, I totally get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. But as someone who spent very recently, 6.5 years playing one game, a game that definitely defined an era of my life. I've completely circled back around to really enjoying the game I'm going to get 25 hours of enjoyment out of with my friends, or 50 hours or 100 hours. Like, I don't think I'm going to put 7,000 hours into Armor Reforger, but I actually think 3 or 4 times a month, I'm going to just want to play that with Ham and Seal and literally anybody who's online right now, hop in the squad. I'm going to get a couple hundred hours of enjoyment out of it, and it's not going to be like a genre-defining or an era-defining game.
Agreed. So we're talking about two different things.
Okay.
Now, I also think there's a really good chance that before you get 200 hours into this game, something else comes along that's just as fun.
Probably.
And here's the thing. For you, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm talking like meta, the gaming industry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The Battlefields, these companies can't. It's why Level 0 come and gone.
Yeah.
Why every fucking other game that we talk about that we play is just bye-bye. It's gone. And why no one plays it, and why everyone's so like, they're acting as if everything is a scam. Because it like might as well be, because the scams are around for 3 months and then they're like the servers are gone and they abandoned them. These companies are just like giving up because when you had like a $300,000 budget and you printed a bunch of things on like a fucking cartridge and shipped them off to Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And like that was one thing. But when you're doing like we have to keep the servers up and have 300 developers on staff
for sure.
Full time.
And that means we need X amount of concurrency. It
can't sustain Jesse's playing for a month or two and then not playing anymore because a year from now it's dead.
You're not wrong.
So like, that's why it's like a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what it's going to lead to.
Yeah.
Like eventually we're just going to end up with no more of these companies trying to do anything other than they'll still be the COD and the Battlefield.
Yeah.
Still wasting their money, doing whatever. And then a bunch of like indie developers doing stuff that's way less ambitious and probably just way better.
Yeah.
Way more innovative, way more thoughtful, way more like real.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think private servers like fixes.
No.
Like someone in chat asked, but private servers, it doesn't fixes it. It like you could have private fucking Quakes 1 servers now. That it doesn't mean that there's like, if the developer still had to.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
The developers aren't going to make games for a very small group of people to have a few private servers that hold on for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like the industry doesn't churn with that. So
they need to sell 100 million copies for them to justify.
Dude, and I've been thinking about this a lot. We've talked about it a lot recently where like, but that's what I'm saying is like, it's so hard because I totally get what you're saying where like the reality of how gaming is now conflicts with, so like not every game can be the best game in the world. Not every game can be a game we spend 10,000 hours playing. But if we're deciding to make games in such a way that we need developers on it 24/7 and a certain amount of server capacity and a certain amount of concurrency, then it almost is like the developers have to believe that this game is going to be like a genre-defining game, but not every game can be that. And I almost wish the game industry would peel back the budgets and just like work on making fun games that don't have to sell a bajillion copies. But fundamentally, the way in which the games industry exists now, like you said, is just so vastly different than when we were shipping on N64 cartridges. And it was like, it's just different. So that is a really interesting point. Now, what I will say about Exoborne is like, I totally get what you're saying, where it's like, you probably pulled it up. You probably pulled up someone streaming it just to get a vibe, watched it for a couple seconds and was like, you'll probably, forget about this game in a few weeks. And that very well might be true. What I will say about that game specifically is they are doing the thing we just talked about with like the innovation thing. The main reason, me personally, I was not that invested in the Cycle Frontier. I know a lot of people really like that. Like that was a game The Cycle Frontier was an interesting game because it didn't die in 3 months. It took like 2 years, and it literally like dragged its way down. They held on to the last bite, and there was such a vocal community that loved that game and wanted it to succeed. And the reason I was invested in that game is because it was the only game in the industry that was doing the extraction shooter that way, like a completely different way. And I thought it was potentially the best way moving forward. They just needed to figure their stuff out. They couldn't. So I respect that Exoborne is trying to basically like carry that torch and completely change the mechanism with which you play an extraction shooter. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's third person. You know, the assets and the art design, I don't know, like the exosuit thing is cool, but it's, you know, it's not like the most meaningful thing. I hope they succeed. I hope they keep working on it. It's a beta, so I hope they, you know, take a lot of feedback and keep working on it. But I respect that they're trying to do that. But I totally agree with what you're saying in the sense that, yeah, there probably has been 10 times where I was like, yo, I played this game with my friends and it was mad fun for a few hours. And then that was really all the time I gave it. And that isn't really how the games industry is working anymore. Like 10 hours isn't enough. If everybody plays it for 10 hours with their friends and has fun, you know, that's just not how it works. But I don't know, man.
There's like, listen, there's a lot of pretty girls at the bar, right? And you might even take a few home every now and then, okay, if you're lucky. But they're still still not on your mind. Like insert the name that you're thinking right now in your head.
Oh yeah.
Dear viewer, dear incel viewer. They're not like, you know, fucking Juliet or whatever, right? Cindy, whatever. None of them do it in the same way. And I mean, like looking at the gameplay, yeah, I mean, this is such like a douchey thing to say, I know, but like if this wasn't first person, it would look like Battlefield or COD, except with like the graphic settings turned down a tad. Like,
oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Looking at
if it wasn't third person,
Exoborne.
If
it wasn't third person, I mean, it's just like because I don't recognize. It's been so long, I don't recognize like the HUD of like COD or Battlefield anymore. So it's just these nice, modern, sleek things with like guns that are like everything looks like a weird futuristic vector kind of thing. Which I don't know, are these guns real or are they not real? Are they fake? Right? Like
my potentially spicy take is I actually don't think the graphics, not even graphics, but like I don't know. I don't think that matters that much. Because
no, neither do I. My point was just that what I'm saying is that it looks like
it would be indistinguishable.
It's visually indistinguishable. It's a game that looks like it's set in 2060.
Yeah.
Which is every fucking game now, right? It's slightly futuristic warfare, right?
Yeah,
like we did retro warfare. We started with everything was World War II. It was Medal of Honor.
Yes, bro. Holy
Medal
Call of Duty. The original ones were World War II.
Fucking Papers, Please. I used to love when they'd ask you for literally not the game Papers, Please, but when you'd have like the little flip down the passport when you're like going through the Nazi submarine base or whatever. Everything was, you know, World War II, and then that kind of we all got sick of that, and then it was modern warfare. Right? I want to be like Black Hawk Down. I want it to be like fucking Afghanistan, you know, and then it was like now we need to trend. Yeah, this future, and then it was like too future. Like Halo is too much. Pull it back to be like, what's the cool new thing that's good? Like, what's going to be the 2025 Porsche 911 is it's going to be real cool. I'm sure, right?
100%. We like split the difference, and now we're just like slightly near future. Yeah,
but yeah. So I mean, like, I don't know. Like, it's. It feels stupid because I don't want to poo-poo on this game. It's just the sentiment that just feels so repeated that it's like,
well, yeah,
I can't like not roll my eyes.
I think a big part of that is just like market saturation, though. Like there are just so many games. Because here's the thing. I agree with you and disagree with you. I totally agree with you that if that game was first person, you and I, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't played much Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything. I've been playing all Tarkov. You've been playing like all these other games. If that game was first person and you give me 7 seconds of gameplay, I wouldn't know what, like, is this the new COD? Is this the new Battlefield? Is this the new freaking, like, whatever? But I don't think that matters because, like, what else is it going to be? Like, if it's old, if it's modern, if it's World War II, everyone's going to be like, oh, we've done this a million times. If it's modern day, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so sick of modern day shooters. If it's future, everyone's like, I'm so sick. Like, the market is so saturated that you could literally pick any design choice or any time period, and a portion of the community would just be like, oh my God, this is so overdone. But I think like gameplay and mechanics are what make games fun, but it's so hard to find. Like a great example is Delta Force. If you watch Delta Force, you would absolutely be like, this looks exactly like Call of Duty. But Delta Force has me by the balls. I don't watch Tarkov anymore. Every single day when I like go like chill on the couch, I pull up a Delta Force stream. I've watched hundreds of hours of Delta Force content. That's not the only thing I do. I put it up while I'm like doing stuff or cooking or whatever. But like that game has me like thinking about it, like how I can get better or whatever. Like I love playing that game, even though it looks completely indistinguishable from like every other game. Mechanically, I feel like it iterated on the extraction shooter genre in a way that like has me addicted. The masses may disagree. You know, the game is not like the smash hit. You know, this is no 2019 Tarkov where like everyone's lining up. But there's something to be said for that, where like it does look indistinguishable because there's just been so many games.
Yeah,
but that one does have me by the balls. Like,
no, but there are two. But again, these are two angles. Because we're having two different conversations.
Okay, fair.
And we're having two different conversations, and I think they kind of started to get mixed here. And that, like, what it looks like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How good it is, or how like. That's when we're talking about the public's perception of the games. And when we see a trailer for a thing or we see gameplay, it's like, it's just the same shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody's interested. Everyone thinks it's just vaporware that's going to die.
Yep.
That's the sentiment. That's separate from how good the game is.
For sure.
Right? Because PUBG would have looked indistinguishable from DayZ and from all the other mods. Like, it, right? But
true.
There was something there. So,
true.
So yeah, those are two separate kind of parallel conversations that we're having. Yeah. Shit, there was another point that I that I kind of forgot. But yeah, like okay. Here's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
And this is kind of like I might be premature. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is.
Give us the spicy.
It's something I just like came to a conclusion that I instantly was like, "Yep, this is the truth." And I haven't thought about it. Okay, I haven't thought about it. I haven't vetted it.
Oh, hit me with it.
But I kind of just have concluded that shooters are dead. The genre's dead. Just like Madden. What's the new football game? There's nothing new. It's going to be like there's a new mechanic around like drafting. Well, now you can put Deion Sanders on your team now though. But we've got Deion Sanders though in this new one, right? It's just Madden.
Yeah,
Madden.
It might not be dead, but it might, like, the beginning of the death may be upon us. Yeah.
Yeah, like how are they going to iterate on
football?
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
There's nothing left to do. We've done it all. So,
hey,
new.
I don't know if I'm grabbing onto that take, but I'm not pushing it out. I'm not pushing it out of the room yet. I'll let it sit.
That's not to say that I'm not gonna. I haven't played Madden since like 2004. So I bet you if I jumped in and played Madden 2026 or whatever's out now, it would probably be fun as hell.
Exactly. This goes back to what you were saying earlier, where like what you're talking about, like shooters are dead. You're talking about like the industry, the $1 trillion industry that is gaming and isn't on the decline. You might at any point, I could be like, V, play Exoborne with me in Sealable Bag tonight. You'd hop in and we would all have fun and we would laugh and stuff like that. So you're not saying there isn't fun to be had playing shooter games. That take is more of like a large scale take on.
I feel like there is always insert a genius artist in any genre ever.
Yeah.
And they could revolutionize jazz or pastel painting or black and white movies, right? Like anything could come along and completely revolutionize a genre.
Yeah.
At any point. I don't think Mozart is going to come along and revolutionize shooters, just like I don't think Madden is going to crawl his way up from the grave. Is John Madden dead?
I don't know, bro.
He's not going to crawl out of his grave and revolutionize football games, okay?
Yeah.
I just don't think, like, what we need is an NFL
Sports.
Did you ever play that game?
Oh, of course.
Like, what we need, what's going to revolutionize the shooter genre is like Mario Party meets shooters. It's going to be like chess with guns.
Yeah,
it was a thing actually that also flopped. That wasn't cool. But
heard about that actually.
It's got to be like something completely fucking different. Like Fortnite was literally like fucking house building simulator
with guns.
Right? Like build a Walmart in the middle of this gunfight.
Yep.
Like, it's going to need to be something just so crazy. It's not going to be some interesting movement mechanics or some interesting, like, even Level 0 was like aliens. That's not enough. It can't just be aliens.
Hey, man. I'm not saying you're wrong. Holy, that's, Yeah.
Like, at least with, like, when you look at racing games, I feel like the racing genre is always going to get, not always, but it still has a ways to go in terms of realism. And actually, that's one of those genres where realism for realism's sake is actually like inherently valuable.
Like fun and valuable. Yeah.
Right? Because it's like you wish you want to know what it's like to get behind the wheel of a Ferrari.
Yep.
I did that.
Yeah.
And my triceps are still sore from 2 years ago from fucking having the shit ripped out of my hands trying to control an F1 car with an actual like $2,000 steering wheel.
Yeah.
So, but like having incredible graphics and the actual immersion and the driving realism and like, I think we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I just feel like shooters have like
peaked.
And realism isn't the metric.
Correct.
Whatever it is, I just feel like all the sliders have been, each of them have been maxed out individually. A few of them have had multiple sliders maxed out, but like, I just feel like there's nothing else. Someone's going to have to come by and say, here's a knob you guys never thought of.
Yeah.
That's going to change things that I don't know. I don't think I'm going to, which is why I'm done. Like, it's kind of why I'm done with shooter.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's just like, nothing is ever going to beat Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to beat Modern Warfare 2. Nothing is going to ever beat 2018 Escape from Tarkov. Nothing is ever going to beat 2017 PUBG. I just don't think it's going to happen. The heyday, we had our fucking glory years, boys. Pack it up, pack it in. It's time to fucking take me out back.
Time to learn chess.
And take me out to pasture and put the gun to my head. Stay golden, pony boy, or whatever the fuck.
Pink Pony Club. Something like that. I want to continue this because this is an interesting conversation. But I do want to take a quick second and thank the third and final sponsor for this episode, and that is ExpressVPN. Going online without ExpressVPN is like not closing the door when you're using the bathroom. Even if you think you got nothing to hide, why give other people a peek in what you're doing? VPNs can help you ExpressVPN routes all of your internet traffic through secure encrypted servers, so ISPs can't see it. All of your traffic that flows through the ISP servers, they can often spy on and do unsavory things with. ExpressVPN can hide your VPN, making it extremely hard for third parties to track your usage. It's very easy to use. At this point, you can use them on everything: tablets, phones, friggin' TVs, Wi-Fi, all sorts of stuff. ExpressVPN is rated #1 by tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. And there's obviously a ton of other valuable things VPNs can do. One of the ones I've used VPNs the most for, and one of the ones that is most frequent, is unlocking geo-restricted content. There's 77 streaming services now, and they all have a long list of stuff that's available here, not available there. So VPNs can be used to unlock those regions, and you can watch content and enjoy it wherever you want. So VPNs are awesome. ExpressVPN, we've worked with them before. So you can protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/pogcast. That is EXPRESSVPN. I had to spell it out. .com/pogcast. You can get an extra 4 months for free. expressvpn.com/pogcast. Thank you so much to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, so someone in chat said there's a new generation playing games for the first time, still having those glory days in their timeline. I can hear my own kids having those same laughs us old guys had. Like, so again, I totally agree.
Yes.
And that's kind of, these are the two conversations.
Yes.
This conversation is selfishly about me and maybe my boomer generation and anybody who agrees with me and feels the same way, but I'm only talking about this from my perspective.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's the same thing that everyone, all the old fucking dudes are saying, metal back from the 70s was like, we'll never have metal, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good Sleep Token or Dream Theater are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they'll never have that experience again, and that's real for them.
Yeah.
And that's like a real thing they experienced, a wave, and then like the death of a, not even like a genre, but like their metal is not our metal.
Yeah.
Right? Metal's still alive, just like shooters are still alive. But
well, here's the thing. Actually, to take a point you made earlier even further, it feels like this. This might fall apart, this analogy. So hope just take it in good faith and keep going. But to keep the music thing going, in the music world, the demand isn't for the last generation, the current generation, and the next generation to all need to listen to the same band. An artist can just succeed by the metrics of appealing to Gen Z, and they can blow up. And Creed can still tour and they can be successful. Whereas it feels like, once again, the games industry oppression on the gamer is that a game is not successful unless it has 3 million concurrent players. And by virtue, it is like every single piece of marketing for Call of Duty is marketed towards our age and older. Milsim, Bravo 6, going dark, tactical as fuck, like that power fantasy. And then what do they do 2 months in? Nicki Minaj skin, which is absolutely, I'm not even joking. There's Post Malone and Nicki Minaj skins in Call of Duty. That is absolutely not marketed towards our age and older. So Call of Duty, the industry, the executives say Call of Duty needs to be enjoyed by every generation. So while I completely agree with, I don't even know who said that, the chatter that said, yes, there is a brand new, generation and they are in their heyday enjoying games. It's like the
people making it don't know their fucking audience.
Exactly. The people that are making it still just see it as like one giant pool of gamers and they need everybody playing. And this is kind of weirdly the first time this has happened, right? Like our parents didn't have video games they played like we play video games. Like some of our parents played some of the old, ASCII games and stuff like that for sure. But gaming, the industry of gaming developed while we were growing up. And now there's a new generation coming. So this is like
home gaming.
Yeah, home gaming for sure.
Don't get Billy Mitchell started.
No, you're right. Home gaming, you're right. So it's so interesting that like this is kind of the first time this is happening where like and that's why I think one of my biggest problems with video games right now is the nostalgia bait. Everything is just like, we need Call of Duty to be the way it was. We need a Battlefield to be the way it was. I'm like, dude, stop making Call of Duties. They obviously won't. It's a literal infinite money glitch for them. But I'm like, stop making Call of Duties. Let's make new games. But these quadrillion-dollar IPs that have been around for forever, that want to just constantly convince you that it's going to be like the old days next time, while immediately betraying that trust and selling freaking Slim Jim guy skin, and then just rinse, repeat that every year, they they bully the smaller guys because they have the audience. We've talked about this before where like people don't feel comfortable playing another game unless their whole friend group plays the other game. And there's the sunk cost fallacy of I've spent $2,000 on skins and DLC and I've got 10,000 hours in this game. And if we go play this game, I've wasted this time and this money. And, you know, if we are going to change games, the friend group will fracture. Because if we're not going to change games, we'll all just play this game. But if we're going to change games, I want to play Dragon's Dogma 2. This guy wants to play this other shooter. And so the big titans just sit there remaking slop year after year, and we all buy it, and it just never stops.
Yeah. Everyone's disappointedly, begrudgingly playing the lowest common denominator, the least boring game. The most fun game is like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Modern Warfare 2 COD 4 was fucking 10 out of 10. Tarkov in the beginning was, and part of that, there's part of it that is like, someone also said the best Call of Duty was the one you played when you were 15. There's something there.
Yeah,
for sure. What they're saying, there's something there.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Because I don't think that like Level 0 was no better than Battlefield 96,000, which is no better than fucking Quadrocopter or whatever game you're playing, which is like they're all the same. They're all just the same, sleek, hyper modern shooter
and
with insert. But this one has a gimmick, and it's what's really interesting. And it's like, but that gimmick is instantly boring and not that interesting after a while because gimmicks don't make games.
Yeah,
you know, like gimmicks sell. They sell, but they don't. Yeah. They don't deliver, right? Like, no, but but this truck has nuts, right? This truck has nuts, though.
Yo, does this truck have nuts? Just put the game in the bag, man.
Okay, so I had I think a very similar feeling, and I don't know if maybe I can like. I'm gonna try something real quick. See if I can give you the same feeling that I have when I hear all the things that like. That chat was saying and some of the things that like you were saying.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little bit of research and stuff into some of the project I was working on.
Yeah.
And one of the weird side avenues I went down had to do with road rage because I was like, there's something to like disinhibition on the road where it's like just being behind the wheel and in a box with another person in a box. There is some amount of like invulnerability and dehumanization to the point where you're willing to be like, fuck you, where if you were standing next to them in line at the grocery store, that wouldn't happen, right? But if you're in a box moving at 70 miles an hour, like that's enough to get you like a third of the way towards the way people act online.
Whoa.
Okay. But so, and I was watching a newscast and there was a psychologist that was on talking about the psychology of road rage. Okay. And the newscaster was like, so, if you have someone who thinks that they might be like experiencing road rage, like what would you recommend? And the guy's like, if you feel like your blood pressure is rising or whatever, and you're on the road, like, first thing is maybe take a deep breath, in and out. Probably going to want to pull over on the side of the road and take a little bit of a breather. Disconnect yourself from the situation. And I'm thinking, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
You're talking to adults who you're worried are going to get into physical altercations on the road. And these are the people that are going to be like, oh, deep breaths. I never considered that.
Yeah.
It's
or
like
pull over. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're talking to adult child, like man children, like who. So I'm just thinking like, why do human beings need to be told? Like, it's a thing that doesn't need to be said.
Okay.
Which is like, so like what you're like, you come to the right reasonable conclusion. You're like, I'm saying the thing that is the right, reasonable, responsible thing. And I'm like, it doesn't need to be said out loud with our mouths. Like, what? Why does it need to be said? Why? I'm just like, I've evolved to the point where I'm like, why does the obvious, reasonable thing
even need to be said at all?
Be fucking said? Like, if it needs to be said, the people who need to hear it don't deserve to hear it. Is where I'm at.
Pause. Let him cook with that. If it if the most reasonable thing even needs to be said, the people that need to hear it either won't hear it or don't even deserve to hear it.
That was either pseudo profound.
I think you're chefing something up there. That
I don't know. I'm literally seeing stars though right now. I think my pause.
That's the most like physical exertion you've done in the past 72 hours. Bro,
I might have held my breath.
There's yeah, I mean, because it's cathartic. Because that's all it is catharsis. It's cathartic for the guy to come into chat and mauled that I'm playing a game that looks like another game because he's frustrated that all games look the same. It's cathartic for me to yell at you about how all games look the same because the games industry is fucked and I just want to be able to enjoy playing games with my friends. But all it is catharsis because none of us, the chatter, the gamer, or the streamer, have any pull with the 7 dudes in white suits making all these decisions. They won't hear this feedback, couldn't care less about the feedback, and are actively pursuing the opposite of the reasonable thing. So yeah, it's all it is catharsis. But you're right. It shouldn't need to be said, and if it does need to be said, then the people that are steering the ship obviously don't care.
Yeah, the same is to be said for video games as business and politics and all. This is how everyone becomes a cynical fucking recluse, I guess. You know, because it's like, it's just sometimes I feel like I'm listening to my character that I'm playing in GTA's best friend complaining about society these days in that game.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, and I'm like turning to my wife, like, get a load of this. Even though he's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
It's like, brother, you need to transcend the game. You need to just transcend the game. Recognize, like, you need to. Oh, brother, I just watched Arcane, by the way. I watched all of Arcane during this whole fever dream as well.
Was it not amazing?
You need to like eyes roll back in the head like I am fucking the Unity whatever. Everyone's like, get that's you need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Oh yeah.
I actually, this is the first time that
wow.
It was great. But there's a difference between like hitting different and being great.
Yeah.
I'd say it was definitely at least an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I feel like 9 out of 10 you got to be like, I'm not sure I mean, I don't know. Now, a part of it was that I was delirious, so there was a few bits where I'm like, wait. What the fuck is going on? But like, I feel like Edge Runners like wasn't as good in terms of production or character, but yet still somehow emotionally, like this didn't hit me emotionally, actually, really that much like Edge Runners did.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I connected with this more than Edge Runners, personally.
Maybe
I don't.
Yeah,
you're just
you're just fucking choom.
Yeah, I guess. I think Edge Runners was very good, but I think this is what we've talked about this before. I feel like Edge Runners was more traditional, like anime, and Arcane was like animated. You know what I mean?
Although I loved that there was. It had this like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm butchering it, but like this high modern art style to it.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely animated, not like cartoony.
Correct.
But then like every now and then there'd be like smoke, and the smoke was totally like turned down to 240p, kind of like anime-esque. I just love that there were, and then there were also like little montage sections that looked like they were made with like crayon and like it was really cool. It was beautifully done.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like the quality of Arcane was like next level.
Yeah.
But like all I can say is that I remember people being like super pogged and excited about something. And then I finished season 1. I was like, oh, it must have been season 2. And I watched all of season 2 and I was like,
I feel ya.
I just feel like it was like,
yeah. You know what the problem is? It was because I was recommending it to you while the culture was recommending it to you. Like, you know, there was like
I don't think nobody was
recommending it to you, but you were aware that like the cultural, like everybody was like Arcane is legit. When I was like, bro, you need to watch Dark. You know what I mean? It was like no one was. It was just me. It was just like, bro. As a
Dark
friend,
was like life changing. It's on the timeline as a. There's a time in my life.
I know. I'm not saying
like
I think Arcane would have been there. I'm just saying there's always something when you know like a billion people really enjoy something. You're like, it just kind of raises the thing. Yeah, I didn't mean to oversell it. I don't think Arcane was like a 10 out of 10 like generational show, but I also thought it was great. I was like, it was absolutely worth watching, and you know, I'm all in for more.
Is there what's
what
the
the
deal
hell
with
were
it
we
now?
talking about?
I don't know, but it's way
before that, bro.
Way better than how dead shooters are.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just talking about transcending the fucking
like transcending the game.
The game, like everyone's in this fucking like antisocial gamer troglodyte rat race of this genre's good, this genre's bad, all of these games that are coming out are scams, this game is good, none of these games, this game was a good one, this is what's bad, this is what's like, it's and then there's the one layer above that, like the one layer more meta, which is, guys, you know, you're having the wrong conversation, you know, it's really about X, Y, and Z.
But you know what though? Like, what I want to do is transcend the game, but still enjoy the game. Like,
you can. Yeah, that's why you just don't talk to anyone.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of impossible when you're friggin' a streamer. But you know what I mean? Like, that's where we talked about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Where
you just kill your viewer base.
Yeah.
Kill your viewership.
There you go.
See, no one lurks in my stream now. It's fucking fine. I don't even talk anymore, bro.
But you know what I mean? It's like I got there with Tarkov, where I like just transcended it, and like I'm basically there to just say yes. Like if you have an opinion about Tarkov, you're like, this wipe sucks. I'm like, yeah, man, this wipe rocks. Hell yeah, glad you're having fun. Like I just want to have fun. I've transcended. I want to do that in everything. Like I want to.
Well, that's what I said. Remember what I said before? The next logical level is to just be like everyone's right about everything.
100%.
Like totally fucking
Zen, bro, dude. Yes, play some Bob Marley. I just want to like I want to be like aware, but evolve past the conversation we had back around to almost like a blissful ignorance of like, I just want to play Exoborne for 7 hours and enjoy it and have fun and move on. Because like I'm aware of the machine, I'm aware of me being a cog in it, and I'm aware of my inability to change it. And so I just want to like return to ignorance and just like enjoy it, enjoy the games.
Yeah, the problem is, how do you respond to the, you know, you're at level transcendence, right?
Yeah.
How do you respond to the level 2 Andy?
Yeah.
Who's like, you know, this game's update cycle is totally not going to be as consistent as blah 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 whatever. You know, the cycle frontier, and it's like,
bro,
you are a fucking mosquito in the conversation of like what's going on. You're a mosquito. And we're talking about geopolitics right now, okay?
Yeah,
like,
bro,
you're missing some context, friend, and I'm not here to educate you on it.
This reminds me, have you seen any of the content recently of Northern Lion playing Trickshot Simulator?
No.
It is the best content on the platform right now, bro. He spent like 3 days, like a total of probably 16 hours trying to hit.
Oh my god, is this like the fucking
It's like the boulder thing, like the pushing the boulder up the hill. It's very Sisyphusian, if that's a word.
No, but this is the oh my god. Oh my god. What are the people on YouTube?
Dude Perfect.
Dude Perfect. It's just Dude Perfect Simulator?
Yes, it's just Dude Perfect Simulator. And he spent genuinely like 16 hours on one trick shot, where he was trying to get 3 poker chips into 3 bottle caps. And it was literally, he like blocked out entire stream days where he was just doing this. And the enlightenment. The conversations have been hilarious because people are like, this is the most boring thing in the world. And he'll like crash out. He's like, this is the only real content. Like people keep saying it's brain rot. He was like, this is the opposite of brain rot. Everything else, the XP bars, the exploding things he was like, this is stripped away. It's nothing. You know, this
is straight up heroin into your aorta.
Exactly. He's like, it's just pure unadulterated. This is what every other game is doing under the hood, but it's trying to trick you with the brain rot that it's not. All you're doing, dude. And it's hilarious, and he is just sitting there putting the chips in the caps, and like it's so good because it's basically that's all the conversation he keeps coming back to is like this is transcendence. This is realizing that you've put yourself in the prison of needing the dopamine, the constant XP boost. You know, you've put yourself in the prison of feeling like you need to know the freaking update cycle for the next 7 years of the game to determine if it's worth even downloading a free demo. You know, like release yourself from the prison. Sit here and just watch me for 8 hours try to get 3 chips in 3 bottle caps. And it's been hilarious, dude.
I mean, I feel like I'm on the same arc.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone, like, you know what the best fucking shooter game is going to be for 2025? It's not going to be a shooter, bitch. So fucking uninstall them all and download The Binding of Isaac or Balatro or fucking Trickshot Simulator and free yourself from the Matrix. Just oh god, see the fucking world for what it is, boys.
Transcend the game.
Because spoiler alert, you're not an operator and you never will be. Except for like the 4 operators in my audience.
Yeah.
Talking to you, Mike.
Holy bro. Wow. That was certainly,
dude, I'm like literally
something.
all I've heard is Trickshot Simulator. Okay. I clicked on the Northern Line video. I clicked on the thing, and all I see is the inside of someone's shed. Okay. There's a tiny table. There's a fucking, I don't know, Phillips electric hand drill.
Yes, with the badminton.
With a badminton thing stuck in, and I haven't even played it. I'm looking at a single frame, and I know this is going to be 3 months of my life.
Dude,
that's all I need to know is how fucking genius this is, because all you need is a single goal and some physics.
Yep. Dude, it's
Chess with Guns is 9 layers above this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally some of the best content. Obviously, he makes it great, but it is like some S tier content right now. Him playing Trickshot Simulator, it's great.
Oh my god, it's This is getting over it with Bennett Foddy, but
stripped down even further.
But you know why? Because getting over it with Bennett Foddy, okay, there's a graph from 0 to success.
Yes.
And what you get is
you climb the graph.
You get hide. Nobody gives a fuck until you're but this is
100%.
You're always 1 second away from the moment. It's like when you go to a soccer. It's why soccer's so popular, because they score once a year.
Yeah.
They score once a year. It's why basketball is a snooze fest, because it's like
300 points, 300 to 300. Yeah.
Call me when there's fucking 5 minutes left, and then I'll care. Okay.
And it's like the viewing. It's the viewing experience of like almost like gambling, where you're like, I'll just watch a few more. He'll hit it.
Just one more.
Just one more, right? Because, you know, like you could watch for like in an 8-hour stream, there will be exactly 17 seconds of success. So it's like you never know if it's coming or if it's not. The I was here is strong with that type of content. Like, strong.
I mean, that's what makes speed. That's what a huge part of what makes speedrunning so big. The problem here is that you like what I said. you always see the viewer numbers when someone's like on pace for world record. That's when it like. That's when the 20 viewer Andy becomes the number one in the category, and all the other streamers open up their streams, and everyone's like there.
Yep.
You know, for when they're on pace. That like the hype about like I can't click away. Like now is the time to see it live. But you know, if I pull up Cheese's stream and he's doing Super Mario and he's like 11 minutes into like a 48-minute. He might be 10 seconds ahead of his PB, but it's like, so run will die. And you just click away. Or like, it's what chances it's going to be, you know, but this is like, I don't want to click away.
You're 1 second away from glory. 1 second away. Yep.
Because the thing with these two is that because of like fucking the chaos of physics, you could overshoot the thing by 5 feet and you were just as likely to get it as to whether it was like, and falls off the side. They were both like not going to succeed.
Yeah.
But it's so trivial to make it look like, oh, it's so close. Oh, it's easy to hit the thing every time after a while. But oh God, this is unbelievable, dude. It's put a lawnmower in this game and you'll never see me ever again. And you'll have to find, you'll finally be able to satisfy the 17 commenters that wish you would finally get a new guest on your show.
Oh, bro, dude, every week I'm like, bro, will you be a guest on my podcast? And you're like, I guess.
It's sad that you can't get any other guests on your show. No one will fucking. People say I'm a failure. You can't convince another guest to be on your show.
230 episodes. I can't get anyone else to come on. Jeez,
on the Kazam cast. And the best part is that on Northern Lion, all of the recommended shorts are handmade clay teapot, the best pottery I've ever. My new favorite.
What is it? Florence and the Machines?
Florian Gatsby, which is just a fucking amazing, incredible name. Like if you're going to be a famous artist, Florian
Gatsby is a great, artistic.
And his logo, bro, it's just okay. Picture like F, right? Okay. It's just like two lines off of. But imagine just like the two lines on the F are just kind of like.
Little flaccid,
just canted down. They're not bent. They're
just canted down. Okay,
just like and he puts a little maker's mark in the clay, and it's just like God, that's what I was going for with my logo. I didn't quite get there. It's just a V with V's.
A V with V's. A V, yeah.
Yeah, well, a triangle made of V's.
Yeah,
but yeah. But it's kind of also like a Triforce, but yeah, it's the closest I could get after about 11 minutes of prototyping.
Well, for my logo, I went outside and took a picture of my face with sunglasses on and just put it into a vectorizer. And
I mean, that branding is evergreen,
and
except you can never shave.
Yeah, exactly. And then just
one day I will
change it to 3 shades of gray, and then.
Yeah, and I've already seen like the triangle with the beard on the bottom. I don't know, like it looks better shaved. So, and so do I, honestly. But you know how many people are going to be mad when I shave? I inevitably will shave, and people are going to be, bro. They're going to be so mad. Oh, the beard. And they won't know. They won't know that the beard doesn't. I don't even think the beard looks great. But
it looks great.
The crazy thing is, it looks 100 times better on camera than it does in real life.
You think so? Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, because it just, the contrast, it makes it look.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Full, and you see it from one angle, and yeah. Looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, when am I going to shave this?
Damn.
I'm going to be honest. I've never liked the beard. Don't ban me. Wow. It's fucked up.
That is messed up.
The last time I shaved, I made like 5 figures. So the sad thing is that I'm just going to like shave off stream this time. Because to go off of the whatever rant I had in one of the podcasts, I don't know if it was on the PP or not, where I was just talking about fucking selling out and whatever. Yeah. We were talking about all that shit. And I'm just like, everything I do is explicitly like not to make money.
Yeah.
Because fuck you.
Yep.
And I'm just going to shave off stream and not do like a sub fest to.
Dude, people have asked me how much to shave the beard, and the answer's always the same. More than what you got, bro. I like
$10,000.
Dude, what's literally messed up is I would have to think about it. Isn't that crazy? I probably would for $10,000.
Even if it was like to shave, not like you have to keep it shaven, like just shave and grow it back.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, yeah, I guess I would. I really.
Have you ever shaved it since you've had it?
So yeah, I've had a couple iterations of facial hair. I've only ever shaved it when I worked at places that forced me to. So I haven't shaved since the last time I worked at Chick-fil-A, which was like 2013, 2014. I haven't seen my chin since then. But
yeah, I shaved once. I just remember how weird it was. It was very weird. It was I was almost like slightly depressed afterward for a little bit because it was almost like I didn't like recognize myself in a weird way.
Dude, I really think I would have something like that. Like, it has been so long. I am a completely different person since the last time I shaved. I feel like the only two futures I have are either I will never shave or I'll wake up one day and do it. Like, I don't think I'll like be like, I think I should shave sometime and then, like think about it. It's like, it's either going to hit me like almost like a midlife crisis where I'm like, and then it just happens, or I'm just never going to do it.
And that's a shame because the ultimate thing were to be like the perfect world would be you decide you want to shave. You go to grab the thing and you think, no, pump the brakes. And then you do like a subathon like a week later. And you put like a goal that like, I don't want anyone to meet this goal. I'm definitely not going to. And you would hit the goal and then, oh no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
$10,000.
Honestly,
I didn't want it.
That is actually like, scratch that. The most likely scenario is I'll do a subathon, put that on, it'll get hit. And that is probably the reason I'll shave. If it ever happens, it will be because like I made it a sub goal and it happened or something. Oh, geez. And that's what's crazy. And I don't know if that says something about me, but like, I couldn't have this exact beard in like a couple of weeks, but I would have a beard undeniably in like 2 or 3 weeks. But
yeah, see, it would take me like 6 months.
Really?
To have like, I don't.
My beard, my hair on my head and my beard, it grows so fast. Like which is I'm not complaining about at all. But that's what I'm saying.
Maybe like 3 months. I don't know.
That's why I'm like, I don't know why. It's got to just be about like change and myself, because like the thought of shaving my beard like stresses me out. But like I would have but I would definitely have a beard in a few weeks, and in probably like 2 or 3 months I would have this again. But like, and that in the scheme of things, that's nothing in life. See, I'm almost convincing myself to just go do it right now. I got to stop talking because
the sad part is that like, I think I probably would have shaved now if dealing with chat wouldn't be so annoying.
Oh, shoot.
Because every person
would come up with the same joke.
It would either be a joke or it would be it looks great. It would either be like, I liked the beard or I like you, but it's like, it can't just, I want to like walk into work and have everyone be like, oh, hi, Mark. And then like,
you should get,
and that was a reference to that movie. My name's not Mark, everyone. No, but you know what I mean? Like, and just you don't have to say anything. You just don't have to say anything.
You should get those people that rig up VTubers to like, you 3D model yourself and get them to rig up, and then VTuber, but of yourself with a beard, but be beardless. You can live your truth and nothing will ever change on your externally facing.
Would it be like obviously a VTuber like animated thing, or would it be like photorealistic?
In my brain, it would be photorealistic. I don't think we're there yet with the tech, but it would be photorealistic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like Snapchat filters look better than like my beard anyway. Like a Snapchat filter with a beard looks better than my beard. So
imagine you shaved your beard and then did like a silly NVIDIA filter beard, but never addressed it, ever. Like, chat never got to see you clean shaven. Day one, you sit down with the Snapchat filter, and you just did that for like 6 months. That would be crazy. That would, like, unironically probably be an insane content farm. Like, you're like, because people would be like, is he going to address it? Is he going to address? And you just never do.
Yeah, I couldn't.
That's your Nikocado avocado grift. I've been shaving the whole time.
I have like 17 different ideas that are exactly like that just like wouldn't work for me. But like, I wish I knew people who are like, I am a content creator that has talent that needs an idea, and I want to buy it for like $1,000.
Bro, think
because there are things I'll never do.
Like you need like incubator, like a streamer incubator, where like smaller streamers,
V Combinator.
Yeah, and then you do the idea and help them execute on it, and then you get 6% of their their subbage in perpetuity.
Yeah, true. How much do you think? How many subs do you think I would need to get before I would do a face reveal?
What do you mean? Oh, like, I was like, what are you talking about?
I heard the dial-up sound through your microphone just then.
You do. That might be the longest I've ever taken to respond to a question you've asked. I really. Holy. Well, if you're interested in seeing Veritas's real face, he does reveal it on the Patreon. So go to patreon.com/thepogcastpod.
We should talk about what we did last time.
Yeah, dude, we did.
Real quick.
So like 2 weeks ago now, we did the episode of the main cast that was about trolling in the internet, and we did the big case study where Veritas talked about the troll that he had come on his stream, and they talked for an hour. Well, on the Patreon, this week's Patreon episode, me and Veritas listened to that call and basically did react content / director's commentary, where like Veritas knew what had happened and was like able to say more about what he was thinking in any given situation. And I didn't hear any of it because I wasn't there that day. So I was completely just reacting to what this guy said. And I didn't know how it was going to go, but like we did an almost 2-hour episode and only got through 30 minutes of the conversation.
We got through half of the conversation in oh my God, 4x the commentary for the content.
Yeah.
Because it was that
it was good.
Thick.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was quite like there was a lot there.
And the response, like if you're a patron, let them know. The response was really good. People were like, "Yo, this episode was fun." It was.
Oh, I didn't see.
On
Patreon or in the Discord, or
I've
I didn't see where
50 people come into my stream in the Discord, and the comments on the Patreon post were like have been.
Oh hell yeah, because I've been fever dreams.
Oh,
so
true.
I don't know what happened.
Check the comments, dude. People are vibing with it. Yeah. So that was fun. So maybe in the future, more React style content on the Patreon would probably be kind of sick. Yeah. So, but yeah, go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod. You can get early ad-free access to these episodes and additional episodes, up to 1 additional episode every week, which is crazy. And thank you so much to ExpressVPN and MeUndies and MANDO for sponsoring this episode. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the support. And you guys are the best. We will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.